Hello, book people. It's me, Brad. Today, we're going to be talking about, drumroll please, Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This book was, oh my goodness, fantastic. It is probably my favorite book that I've read so far this year, which isn't really saying much. I've only read 2 books this year so far, but it is a fantastic book. It is so good. I cannot say enough good things about it. It is great. It is fantastic. You should read it. But anyway, some basic information. This book is a sci-fi thriller, suspense, romance mashup. The sci-fi aspect of it is there if you're looking for it. It is definitely more of a thriller and even a romance book. It is a short book. It is 340-ish, depending on which edition you're reading, 340 pages. It is fairly small. It is definitely something you can get through in a couple days, 3 days, depending on how much time you're reading. It is in the first person point of view, which I thought was a very good creative choice by the author. So whatever our main characters are feeling, we're feeling. And this book was also published in 2016, so I'm a bit behind the ball talking about it. It was definitely a big thing when it was first released, even though I've never heard of it up until late last year. I'm reviewing it now, so awesome. A basic synopsis. So this book is about our main protagonist, Jason Dessen. He's a middle-aged man who is married to his wife, Daniela, and has a son together, Charlie, both of whom Jason loves and adores. He's an atomic physicist and a professor at a local college in Chicago, Illinois. When the story starts, Jason is going to a bar to celebrate the achievement of his college roommate and best friend at the time, Ryan. Ryan just won this huge prestigious award in physics, and Jason's going to congratulate him. On the way back from said event, Jason is kidnapped by a man in a geisha mask. This man forces Jason at gunpoint to drive to an abandoned building and starts asking Jason all these very specific personal questions, some of which include, do you call your wife Danny or Daniela? And other questions that I won't get into right now, but they're very personal in nature. This guy has a very in-depth knowledge into Jason's life. The guy even says, your life is kind of my specialty. Anyway, our masked man gives Jason a drug, and Jason passes out. When he awakes, he is on a gurney surrounded by a bunch of people in hazmat suits. These people seem to know all about Jason, but Jason does not know any of them. After a bit, Jason deduces that he is not in Kansas anymore. Just kidding. Jason realizes that he is not in his own world. And the rest of the book is him trying to get back to his world, specifically his family. And that's all I'm going to say about the synopsis. Some of the things that I really loved about this book is the character development. Especially, Jason, now you spend the entire book with Jason, and as I said, it's in the first person, so whatever you feel like is happening to Jason is happening to you. And there were several points where I was really starting to get anxiety on a very big level. My pulse was quickening, my breathing became more rapid, sweat was breaking out, and I had to put the book down for a second just to center myself. Jason is a well-developed character. You feel like he's real. You feel like someone you've met before. Ow, cat. Sorry, cat attack. Where was it? Oh yeah, Jason. Great character. What I did not expect was how well-developed Jason's family was. His wife and his son, you only really meet and get to know over the first chapter and then the last 1 or 2 chapters. And that's what you get of them, but they are written in such a way that you feel like it could be your wife or your son. And I thought that was very, very well done. The second thing that I highly enjoyed was the pacing. It was breakneck. It was boom, 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 boom. You never got a chance to stop. You never got a chance to breathe, which ties into my earlier comment that I feel like there's a little bit of anxiety. Protagonist Jason must have been going through a lot in his head, and then as a reader, you felt that, which was, again, really cool. Also, the introduction to the multiverse. This book does have a lot to do with the multiverse, which for those who don't really know, is pretty much the theory that there are multiple planes of existence or multiple realities that are going parallel with yours. And for every decision you make, another branches off, and then there's another version of you who made that choice versus the choice that you made, and expounds from there. A very mind-numbingly beautiful thing to think about. I did not know much about the multiverse going into this. My only exposure was Spider-Man Into the Multiverse, or whatever that movie was called. So I didn't have a lot of exposure before this, but this book was written in such a way that the subject matter of the multiverse was brought in a very low barrier of entry kind of way. It wasn't condescending, it wasn't super technical, it was easy to understand. Some of the themes that were focused on in this book were family, where obviously Jason is trying to get back to his family, nothing's more important than his family. And he realizes in this other world, he became very successful, but he never married his wife, and they didn't have a son. And it's pretty mind-blowing to think about, where if you think about your own life, if you thought about taking different choices, where would you have ended up? Maybe you wouldn't have married your husband, maybe you wouldn't have graduated that school you went to. Pretty interesting. And the second major theme was identity. Who are you really? I mean, is it the flesh and blood? Is it the mind? Is it just the synopsis finding in your brain? And what really makes you you? I mean, if this multiverse does exist, where there are multiple versions of you, I mean, are you truly unique? Just to say. And there's one thing that I didn't really care. It's not that I didn't care for. I thought the ending was kind of predictable in the way that I knew what was going to happen did happen. I just didn't expect how it happened to happen, if that makes any sense. So essentially, the thing that happened, I knew was going to happen. But what happened afterwards... Sorry, that was my computer screen. It's paying no mind. Really? Alright. I'm going to do this. So, round 2. In the end, there's only one thing that... It's not that I didn't care for it. Come on, cat. This is our cat, Binks. He's a little psycho kitty. Pay him no mind. Anyway, for the third time, there's only one thing that I didn't really, not that I didn't care for, that I kind of predicted, and that was the ending. I knew what was going to happen was going to happen. I just didn't expect the way that it happened to happen. It was still a nice ending, great ending actually. It kind of makes you feel, it was all worth it. But it was slightly predictable, and that's the only reason why I'm not going to give it a perfect score. I'm going to give you the score that I'm going to, and that score is an 8 out of 10. The characters were interesting, the plot was interesting. I guess the plot's been done before in other sci-fi books and movies, but for me it was unique. I've never read anything like that before. I definitely recommend this book to everybody. It's a quick read. You can read it in 2-3 days if you read for a couple hours at a time. I definitely recommend you give it a shot. Buy it today. You can get it wherever books are sold. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, wherever you get your books, I guess. But anyway, that's it for today's review. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like, definitely like the video and subscribe to my channel, both of which help me quite a bit. And this is using my new audio system, so if you have any comments about it, if it's better, worse, or about the same, comment in the comments below. I do read all the comments. And yeah, you guys are awesome. Thanks.